Do you have a brand, product, program, or service that you want, no, needs to get in front of your customer? Well, what's stopping you? Is it not having a commercial? You lack social media graphics? Or just don't have the opportunity? Well, problem solved. I'm Delana Watkins, host of the television show, The Women's Wellness Lounge, and I have an opportunity to partner with you to get your brand in front of over 100 million viewers. We can help you with social media graphics as well as a commercial. If you're interested and this sounds like an opportunity for you, your brand, product, program, or service, I want you to send an email to info@DelanaWatkins.com or comment under this video or simply visit my website at DelanaWatkins.com. Thank you, and I look forward to partnering with you and helping your brand be exposed to over 100 million viewers. Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Wellness Lounge. So again, we have another magnificent show lined up for you tonight. I'm excited. Thank you guys for joining us live, whether you're joining us in the Women's Wellness Lounge, on my personal page, or following us live on YouTube. I have the pleasure tonight of having one of my friends, one of my longtime sister girls, Miss Romunda Ings, better known to me as I renamed her the Internal Love Doctor. So when I wanted to talk to my ladies in the Wellness Lounge about the gut health, you know I had to call up the Internal Love Doctor. So the gut health is, our gut has so much more significance that we don't even realize. By the end of tonight's show, you are going to have more aha moments and more light bulbs going off and more I didn't know that by the time you get finished with my session with Romunda. So Romunda, don't let me down now. Let them know who is in the lounge with us tonight as the Internal Love Doctor. So tell them who you are and what you bring to us tonight.
Yes, as hello everybody. Hope all is truly well. As Delana said, she labeled me that years ago. I used to have a radio show called Internal Life Detox, and Internal Love Radio, and she turned me into the Internal Love Doctor. So
yes, I
did. It's truly a pleasure to be here to talk to you all about good health as an ambassador of wellness, as a practitioner of holistic health and certified colon hydrotherapist and a health minister as well.
So when you talk about internal love, where does that come from? What made you kind of coin yourself as that? You know, we all have our specialties or our specific areas that we want to focus on. So like I called myself, it used to be the Total Woman Wellness. Then I kind of narrowed it down and said, well, the Wellness Maven is who I am because that speaks more to my personality because I'm all things wellness. So for you as being like the internal life, which initially, you know, is really who you are, even though I coined you Internal Love Doctor, where does that whole specialization of being committed to talking and teaching to people about the internal health, where does that come from? Ooh, Romunda, you frozen. Come on, technology. Hold on, everybody. Bear with us one moment. All right, Romunda is having technical issues, you guys. Let's see if she's able to rejoin the broadcast, and I'll give it just a couple of minutes, and then I'll add her back into the broadcast as I see she's coming back on. There she is. Okay. All right, I took you off and then added you back onto the feed.
What happened? I was like, oh Lord Jesus.
I know. I said every time, you know, this is what happens when you do technology, especially when you're live. You know, you got to be able to kind of think quick and move fast, right? Well, welcome back.
Right. I had the phone in my hand.
See, good
I had
thing
the phone in my hand. I said, let me try the phone.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, good thing you had the phone. So I said you got to be able to think and move fast, quickly on your feet. So I was talking about how did you come up with the focusing really on internal love or more like internal life. That's what you call your business, even though I call you Internal Love Doctor. But how did you begin to focus on the gut health?
Well, the thing about it understanding what internal love is, you have to love yourself from the inside out. And so with internal and love, that's where it all starts. You have to internally understand my responsibility is to introduce you to you from the inside out. So in order for me to do that, I have to introduce you how to love you first.
Right.
Before you can love anybody else, you have to really understand what it is to love yourself. And having this godly body that God has given you, you have to know how to handle this temple. And so a lot of people don't know how to handle the temple because they were never taught or introduced how to handle the temple. They was taught how to dress it, make it look good, make it bling, make it all of the above from the head to toe, but never introduce them to the internal piece to make the outside glow.
Absolutely. And that's what, okay, so the other piece of that was loving yourself from the
So that's how I end up coming up with the internal piece.
Right. And the inside out, a lot of people, again, I know for me, even being a nurse, I did not pay a lot of attention to gut health as we're going to kind of talk about it today. Yes, we all know about the digestive system and all of that. And of course, we go into, what encompasses the digestive system. But for the purposes of what we're going to talk about tonight, not really did we go that deep, or I don't think that I put that high level of understanding on the gut health. So let's start at the beginning. Tell us what makes up the gut. What does your gut include? Because when we think of gut, we're simply just thinking that most of us out here are thinking that it's just your stomach, right? But it is truly much more than that. So tell the viewers out there, really, what is your gut?
What is your gut?
Yes.
Your gut is life. Your gut is death. It's how you treat your gut is how your gut treats you. And so people have a tendency to always assume that their midsection is just a part of their everyday look or their everyday life and every day a part of their custom built. But at the end of the day, if you ever pull that back, back, you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you ever pull that back, you'd be surprised what sit behind that abdominal wall. And behind that abdominal wall is your gut, known as your life. What goes in must come out. So if it doesn't come out, what happens? It sit there and it deteriorates. But the gut causes a lot of the bloating and the constipations and the lower back aches. Is caused the arthritis. Anything you can possibly name that reference to your life starts within your gut.
Absolutely.
Emotions, your emotions, your day-to-day living, leaky gut. I mean, the list can go from wrapping a house to a whole a stadium with things that do with the gut.
Yep. And we're going to get into that as well when we talk about the what happens with the gut. But what I want you to kind of walk the viewers through. And first of all, let me again take this opportunity to thank all of you that are joining us live. We have Tanya, who's also joining us live on Facebook. Tanya Young, thank you for joining us in the Women's Wellness Lounge with my guest tonight, Romunda Ings, who is the internal love doctor. So when we think of the gut, tell us from the time that we actually eat food, whatever we're ingesting, from that point, how is that then accepted into our bodies and then eventually works its way to our gut? Because people don't realize that when you first start to eat your food, that process starts what then becomes what enters into your gut.
Right. So when you're looking at what is the first thing that enters in? Where does the entrance to your gut start?
Right. That's what
starts at your mouth.
At your mouth. Right.
And so, and when it starts at your mouth, it goes where? It goes into your whole digestive tract. I mean, starting from the mouth to the rectum. So when you're looking at what goes into the stomach, and then the stomach, it breaks down into the duodenum, which is known as your intestines or your intestines or your gut itself. You're looking at the churning time from the time it enters into your stomach, where it enters in the actual stomach, not the gut. Now, identify there's a stomach and there's the gut. You have your stomach that sits up in the upper area, and then you have your gut that sits right here in the midsection, your abdominal area. And so when you're looking at how the body, what then when you start putting food in, just most people go to YouTube and they look at all this stuff, how nobody think about how does the food get in your mouth and what does it do. So the body has saliva glands, the glands, when the food, it already said, oh my God, I'm ready to eat, it's time to eat. Your mouth automatically get watered. So what happens is the enzymes in your saliva is preparing to do some chewing up of that food. And so from that point, the more you take time to chew your food, the less you want to eat, first and foremost. Right. And then not only that, when you chew your food and you guzzle, you're not allowing the enzymes to break the food down for you. So now you're looking at digestive issue.
Right. Exactly. So that was the main point. Yeah, that was the main point that I wanted you to make, because a lot of people don't realize that the whole digestive process begins the moment you put the food into your mouth, because there's a process that's taking place. And that was what you hit on. And I wanted you to kind of go over everything that you just covered, which is the whole mastication process starts. Those enzymes are released, once the saliva, that is where your food begins to start its breakdown. So the longer that you masticate or chew your food, that helps with the process of digestion.
Yep. And then what can mess it up? What can mess it up is when you as you go to the restaurants, and one of the first thing they give you when you go to the restaurant is what?
Water.
Ice. Total ice beverages. And so your saliva can be saying, okay, I'm going to eat this healthy food. But at the same time, that depends on what you consider, your body considers healthy. It can get whatever it needs out of it. Depends on what you're eating. So if you're eating dead food and you go to try to put the food in your mouth and now the body's trying to break it down, it's like, what is this I'm chewing on? What is this I'm eating? This ain't even life, So it depends on what are you doing to, as I say, feed your live organs. How are you feeding your live organs?
Absolutely. Yep. So so now that we covered that, we understand that gut health just isn't in the stomach. It's not just the stomach. Again, it's an extension, because we have the small and large intestines. So there is a process that happens when you eat. The other thing that I want to cover, now that we have covered that, because I know that for some people is kind of an aha moment, that when we talk about what you put on your plate and then what you eat, it truly is that process of digestion starts there. The other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about, and you touched on this a little bit, and I even referenced it in the description, I put, are you resting or digesting? So some of the food that we eat, people don't realize that food takes a lot of time to digest. When you are eating those processed foods, those artificial, crappy foods, are you resting or are you digesting? So during the time we should be sleeping, our body is trying to break down and process and digest that food. So can you talk a little bit about that? What happens during that process when we're eating food? And there's one food in particular that I always tell my husband. He eats steak every now and again, and I'll tell him that steak, if you eat it today on Wednesday, it might digest sometime by Friday. It's just
maybe
on depending on the cut of the steak. But it literally does take a while to digest. So talk a little bit about that, about the whole, part of what should be occurring when we eat healthy food versus, processed and toxic foods.
Well, as you just heard me say again, I always say live organs look for live foods. So if you keep always constantly feeding your organs dead food, how do you expect to get the life extension or expansion of prosperity in your life if you keep eating dead things?
I love that.
So my live organs are like, hey, what about me over here? And you're like, I'm good. And dead is like, yeah, I got this covered. But liveliness is like, you wonder why you have no energy and you're fatigued and you're tired all the time. It's because, again, your organs like, oh, that's how you're going to treat me. Literally, that's how your organs are talking to you. Oh, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to act towards me. And I've been sitting here laying out with you, hanging out with you for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 something years. And this is how you're going to treat me? Oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Subpar, crappy food. You're not giving me great, good food, live food. And I show up for you every day and I'm, making your body function and do all the things it's supposed to do. And you're going to feed me this crap?
Right. And literally, that's how your body is talking. So what your body will do within the process of that, it'll throw a monkey wrench in it. It'll give you a pain now and then. It'll give you an ache now and then. It'll give you something to think about now and then.
Right.
You know,
it'll make you bloated every now and again. It'll make you constipated every now and again. You know, it'll make you have acne all over your face every now and again. It'll give you gas every now and again. It'll give you know, all of those things that come with it. It'll give you foggy brain every now and again. That's an organ, right?
And make you crave stuff that you don't want to crave.
Absolutely. So that's so now that we talked about that, that's going to lead me into the next part of it is, what are some of the things that we will experience as a result of not eating, you know, live, whole, fresh foods, and or eating foods that weigh us down? What are some of the physical and emotional? Because I said that in the beginning of today's show, I said that your gut health affects your whole body, and I mean the whole body. You know, you heard me just say acne, so that's, you know, skin, that's another organ. You know, foggy brain, that's
eczema, psoriasis, psoriasis.
Right. So again, those are things that I believe that people look for superficial resolve or superficial reasons and or solutions to their problem. Like when we're looking at the skin, we're not thinking that it could be what you're ingesting that could manifest itself as eczema, psoriasis, acne, and things of that nature. That's just a skin issue. What are some other major things that you've seen in your practice that people come in with, not realizing that it's, you know, related to gut health?
Let me tell you, we're talking about that skin. You know, that your skin is your largest organ. First and foremost, just know that. So what you put on your skin absorbs into your bloodstream, and what absorbs into your bloodstream absorbs right into your gut area, and your gut transferred that poison into the rest of the organs of your body.
Absolutely.
So now you're looking at skin cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, liver cancer, kidney cancer, breast cancer, you name it. Emotional cancer, sugar cancer.
Yeah, all of that. And all of that feeds that. So that takes me to the next thing. You see how I'm building on this process for the viewers just so they can see. Now let's switch gears and talk about your gut flora, because just like with anything else, right? People will go out and they hear this next part that I'm going to have you talk to them about. And that's going to be the gut health, the gut flora, right? Your microbiome family, if you will, of the gut. We hear prebiotics and probiotics, and then everybody kind of goes crazy, like they hear, oh, this is a great thing. I need to be having, you know, my probiotics and so on and so forth for, you know, good gut health. And I'm not saying that that's not what they need, but then people don't truly get an understanding of it. They get part of the story as it relates to how that will impact their health or not. So share with us a little bit about that, you know, the good gut health flora, and what we should be looking for, and what is the significance of the pre and probiotics.
Well, first and foremost, first you have to understand, when you having digestive issues, a lot of times your pre or pro is not going to work for you when you have such a thick lining known as inflammation. You see? Yeah. So when you have inflammation that has built up from the top layers of your tongue to the bottom of your body, it's going to be hard for anybody, any supplements or any vitamins or any probiotics or prebiotics to get through to do what it needs to do. Right. Until you defrost the freezer. I mean, throw out the whole entire oven, meaning stop putting so much coldness and then not allowing your body to absorb. So when you talk about pre and pro, you know, they can work hand in hand together, but probiotics is all about the good bacteria. Right. Prebiotics like building. You know, you got to build the blocks back up so the pro and the pre can combine and do what they need to do to help that gut get the good bacteria back into the system. So they compromise each other. One just pulls more strength than the other one because it's a lifter. One is a lifter, one is a puller to make sure that your body is getting that proper nourishment that it needs to get. So
Absolutely.
it's fine to take, if you take both of them, that's good, you know. But the people, I think the struggling piece is understanding that when you taking these things, you have to stay on a consistency with it.
Right. Exactly. And you can't be taking that and then still have a poor diet as well.
My point.
Yeah.
My point. So what's the purpose of us educating you on the pre's and pros when you don't even understand, or well, you won't even focus enough to realize that my body is, I'm not absorbing, which is one of the keys, because if you're not digesting properly, your body's not going to absorb properly. You're definitely not going to eliminate properly.
Right.
So he was like, oh my God, I know, you know, nobody never said that. You know, how does that come about? Well, of course, you know, as an undergird, as a person that loves to undergird, as a, you know, you're out here educating, you're speaking, and you're talking to people and enlightening them on these things. It go from a sit like this to a, you know, they up in, you know, who said that? I ain't never heard that before. And then now you start thinking about it, like, and you look at what, and it's funny because every time I got a chance to speak to Lena, if I was out speaking at an event, it's always around eating time.
Yeah.
It was always an eating event. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh.
Yeah. Because you can have them look down at their plate and get them to understand what they're either missing or they're not missing. You know, what is it that they're doing or that they can replace and or change. But I like how you said that when you talk about, again, it's the inflammation, you know, the ability to clean your, or, you know, and the absorption. So we can take all of these things, but they're not going to be effective if we don't have the ability to absorb, because you're so inflamed, and it's so, you know, your gut is so unhealthy, and the lining of it is shot, right? And so those nutrients that want to get through, even if you do clean up your diet, if your colon isn't cleaned out, you're not going to absorb, you know, the nutrients that you're trying to ingest and clean up your diet. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk and move us through, what do we need to do? I want you to give us some steps that we can take today to change what we're doing and improve our gut health going forward, so that we can have better absorption, so that we can decrease a lot of the inflammation that we're likely experiencing, and why we're not able to, because I see people getting frustrated that they feel as though they've cleaned up their diet and they're wondering why things aren't clearing up and why they're not, you know, maybe losing weight. Or just feeling healthy overall. And what they fail to realize is that they didn't start with a clean slate. So when we come back from the commercial break, I want you to talk about a couple of things that we can do to help with that, so that we can increase with the absorption. All right, Miss Internal Love Doctor.
Gotcha, baby.
All right, so we'll be right back in 20 seconds from our commercial.
I see your lips move. Can you hear me?
And there we go. All right. Shucks, Romunda got knocked off again. Hold on, guys. She'll be rejoining the broadcast, because we want to share with you what you can do today. We want to give you some call to action items that you can do today, so that we can have better gut health. All right. So let me bring her back on into the broadcast. There we go. All right, Romunda. So I want you to share with the viewers. Hey, Bernie. Bernie joined us. And then we had Tanya, who said that that's good. She deals with eczema. So absolutely, Tanya, a lot of times what we see on the outside is a direct reflection of what's going on the inside. So Romunda's going to give us just a couple of things that we can do to change our gut health.
Let's see. First thing, you have to be serious about what you're willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. Because the thing about telling you things, if you're not going to apply it, then why ask? If you're not going to be serious about making decisions, then why ask? Because see, the thing is, only you know about what you need to have done. I'm your need, not your want. You need to know what I have for you.
Absolutely.
See, but you want to do the things you want to do. You know, so if you need to know anymore, and if you're serious about making those steps,
be patient, guys. Hold on. We are rejoining. Hey, Wendy Jenkins Jones, thanks for joining. We are, let's see, trying to add Romunda back. She was getting good too. Getting ready to give us some tips on how we can improve on our gut health. There you go. All right. We got you back on. Our live stream is
so as I was saying, I know. I think everybody on this time of night for some reason.
It is.
I think the thing is, you can hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think the thing is when everything is different for people. Everybody's not the same. Everybody's is not the same. So I think these stories are individual. So you have that particular pattern for that. Because I say one thing, I don't know.
Okay. 3 times the charm. Okay. So you know what happens sometimes when you have great information and there's just some difficulty trying to get that through. So let's try one more time. One more time. All right, there we go. You're back. I told him, I said 3 times the charm. Let's see if that will work. Nope, you froze again. There you go. How about now?
We got to get a satellite in your yard.
Yeah, something. And you know, sometimes it's the time that we go live. If there's more, the bandwidth sometimes is just crazy. So tonight must be it. All right, how about now? It keeps rejoining. Oh my goodness. All right, Romunda, if we can't get her on, I will have her put the comments for her recommendation below the video on what to do to improve our gut health. I will also give you the link to her website. As a matter of fact, let me put her website here now so that you all can see how to get in touch with Romunda. This is her website. It's cleanseyourcolon.com. Romunda, are you able to hear me?
I can see you and hear you. I'm right here on your screen, but I don't know if.
Okay. All right. So give us the a couple of tips on what we can do to improve our gut health.
Right. I'm gonna give you my email just in case this go out again, because again, like I said, everything is customized different for people. So it would be challenging to tell them a scenario when that scenario may not apply to each individual person.
Absolutely.
So an email that you can contact, which is Orange Life, Orange ORAN. No, I'm sorry. For my first and last name, just do my first and last name. Romunda Ings, ROMUNDA INGS ROMUNDA INGS @gmail.com.
Okay.
You can email me, and then we can set up a consultation and go deeper than a little further, because again, I can sit here and give you scenarios, but I don't know your situations either. So I don't want to mislead the wrong person, because I'm telling you, oh, do this, and then you be like, well, that didn't work for me, and they be like, So you have to be mindful of that too. But definitely, it's the thing is you have to be ready. So if I hear from you, and I know you made that effort to call, then I know you're serious about making that change. You see, because it is,
it's
a move on
to make the call. That's why I said the call to action. So even if what it is that you would direct them to do, sometimes we know it, but there's a difference between knowing and doing. So acting, such as sending you an email or going to your website, that's an action when you take action towards that will help to improve you. Because you said this before I lost you before, you have something that we need, right? Even with the information, you have what we need. So talking tonight about the importance of gut health, there's a difference between us knowing, even if we shared a nugget that you needed to hear tonight, you have to make sure that you are willing to take action, because I can pretty much guarantee you, as well as Romunda, the internal love doctor, can guarantee you that if you get a better understanding of your gut health, you will see market improvement and changes when you take action on some things that you may have been working on for quite some time and wondered why they weren't working. But it's because that piece is missing as it relates to your gut health.
And you talk about it all the time, Delana, with the sugar. You talk about it all the time with the sugar. So, when those have to understand, those two work hand in hand. She talk about the sugar craves and all that stuff. You need to understand why you craving it.
Absolutely.
Why are you for her to jump? So in order for her to put you on the right program and the program to tell you but you got to understand what's making me crave that thing that I want it like that.
Right. Exactly. And that's a whole process, really trying to delve into your sugar cravings, and so a lot of it goes back to, gut health. And like you talked about before, it's going to be different for each individual, what it is that you're experiencing. But I can pretty much tell you, even without kind of doing a consultation, that a lot of what you're experiencing, even emotionally, as well as physically, even medically, what you're experiencing, there is going to be a direct reflection on your gut health. And that's why tonight's show about the importance of gut health is why we decided to talk about that today, because I do get a lot of clients who get frustrated with, saying, well, I've been doing this for X amount of days and I've been following this. But at the same time, you started off without cleaning your gut. You didn't.
You got to first get your mindset. You got to start. You got to first set your mindset. How bad do you want it? Why do we have to chase you down to help you when you already know you need help?
Absolutely. Yeah. We talked about that last week, that it's, we know we have this great knowledge base, right? A lot of us, we've heard it all before. And even what we're saying isn't anything new. It's not some brand new invention that just came out tonight at 8:00 when we went live. This is known. Right. However, there's a difference between, like I said before, knowing and doing. And a lot of times it does take for us to experience certain things before we actually act. And so we've got to get our mindset. I said it last week. It's the neck up checkup. That right there can take quite some time. It's the neck up checkup. It's really figuring out what's going on and where you are and get you to a point where what is it that you need to be motivated. All right.
But you know what, check the link before you go, because we're working on doing the webinar about coming up with the fibroids. That's one of the issues that a lot of women have, is because of that sugar crave. Inflammation crave, emotional crave. So again, gut health, all of it is written in that same. If you look, everything you read and you hear people talk about, they're gonna always go back to the gut. It's gonna always fall. I don't care how they take the scenario, the story, everything always fall back into what's going on with your gut.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I said tonight's show was so significant and important, is because gut health is much deeper than what we think. Again, most people just think the gut either involves, your stomach or your small intestine and large intestine, but it really does not. It's actually an entire system where just that alone affects your entire body. So
that's why they like to dress it up. If they dress it up, they don't have to worry about it. That's why they keep dressing up. They would rather address the issue as opposed to Instead, they'll go buy larger sizes instead of checking on why is it getting to that point. I just go buy a 1X when now you got to go buy a 2X. You know, instead of this is the reason why we have to buy clothes, because of the midsection.
Yeah. Why am I dealing with the bloat? What is really going on? You know, what issues? What can I do instead of going to the next size up? What is it that I have control over that I can change? And so I hope tonight that we can get some, you know, tips and some insight as to some things that you can do and or look further into finding out more information as it applies to you. So Romunda, I know you have some information that I want you to share about a webinar that you have coming up that I think is going to be very good for our viewers. So tell us what webinar you have coming up.
Yeah, I have a webinar that's coming up on June 2nd. It's on, I have Eventbrite. It's set up on Eventbrite. It's on my page, which is Romunda Ings. And it's about fibroids, get rid of fibroids, helping you to understand fibroids, you know, bringing it, and just same thing we just finished talking about, that gut, bringing awareness to that gut and how it feeds it. Us as women, we have to understand, why do our fibroids affect us so badly? And why, instead of them telling us how to shrink it or bring it down or control the bleeding or this, they say, well, let me just go snatch that thing out.
Yeah, let me just take it out. Yeah. Yeah. And that, that, you know, having it removed, you know, having fibroids removed or having your uterus removed is not always the answer. Sometimes there are some naturopathic things that can be done. There are some non-surgical interventions that can be done first, but I find that not all, I won't say that every single, you know, physician or health practitioner recommends that, but I just find that they don't always sit down and give you your options, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that they don't always.
They don't.
Yeah. So that's one thing that
because a lot of times they feel like their way is the right way. It's like, if you don't go, if we as Delane and myself, if we not as educators, as speakers, as you know, we are here trying to educate the community and the women and the people around us. We're trying to, if you don't know what question to ask your doctor, then your doctors and them will take advantage of you not knowing. So sometimes we just educate you enough to say, you know what, doc, let's try this. You have to control your situation, not your situation being controlled by somebody else.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's the empowerment that you have as it relates to it being your body. You know, I tell my clients all the time, what you're explaining to me, you know your body, you know, you're in it, you live in it day in and day out. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to have options. Everything has a root cause. So you should be aware of what the root cause is, number one, before you know what your treatment options are, right? So when you're in a situation where you have something going on, before you move forward, you really need to know what is the root cause. And then do I have the power, the ability to affect the root cause? And you can start there before you go to maybe a surgical intervention or some type of medicinal, you know, route. So again, being in tune with yourself begins with you being proactive. And then like Romunda said, and like I shared before, it's the mindset, and then it's the neck up checkup that you really have to take ownership of and accountability for, you know, your actions. All right. So we have one question from a viewer, and we'll check online as well. Is it safe to take pills for colon cleanse? Romunda, Miss Internal Love Doctor. Bernie wants to know, is it safe to take pills for colon cleanse?
Is it safe to take pills for colon cleanse? Why is your colon, what is jacking your colon up? Because again, you got to look at, you have a tunnel. From the time you put something in your mouth, is it going to activate or deactivate time it get in there?
Right. The pill.
You see what I'm saying? So if you take a pill, what does that pill have to go through before it can get results? Sometimes it loses potency, you know, and because you only coming from, because you're coming from the top, you got to remember you have 30 feet of a digestive tract, 30 feet. So you got 25 small and 5 large. So you got to look at, what is that pill going to do once it get in there? How potent is that pill to move whatever it is that's causing me to have the blockage, bloating, the constipation, or whatever? How powerful is that movement? So you got to do things actually before you can take that pill to start that process up. So the pill get in there, it'll start doing the things that it needs to do to move it.
Right. So that's what we were talking about earlier with the whole inflammation, cleaning out the lining, the inflammation, the digestion, and absorption, right? You shared that before. So Bernie, that was a good question because that kind of really drives home the point of why we need to focus on really decreasing our inflammation and just really ridding our colon of that inflammation, because taking a pill, it's not going to be properly absorbed. And if it's not properly absorbed, then you're not going to get the full effect of, and that just goes for not just a colon cleanse, that goes for any kind of pills that you may be taking.
Any vitamins, supplements, medication.
Any of that. Yep. None of it's going to be absorbed. And again, that's why you get that that pushback or that feedback that they're taking something, but they're not feeling the effects of it. And that's why, because it's likely not being absorbed. You may have 20 to 50% absorption rate instead of having 100% absorption rate, which may be why it's not working or is not effective. Yeah. Okay. She said, okay, thank you. All right. So let me check and see.
So that's a wake up. That's a wake up call, because that's something to give something to think about, because you know, they going out here now, they buying things. And, oh, I've been in health food store, and the first thing I'm coming here to get something to clean my colon. And they be like, oh yeah, take this right here. And then I have been in stores, but they come back to, well, this does not really work for me. Do you have anything that's a little stronger? And then I'll be like, well, you might want to get to the root of the problem.
Yes.
Like, huh?
Yeah, like I said
you
before,
keep buying things, but you have to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to, well, we say this all the time. We really want a quick fix. We want instant, results, instant gratification. And it's not always how it works. And that's why I said you really have to just get to the root of the problem. And then likely once you figure that out, I can guarantee you won't revisit again unless you go back to, the old behaviors, but you will know what it is, right? You'll know what's right and wrong on, what you should be eating, what you should be doing, what you should avoid. So that's the biggest thing. Okay. So you shared your upcoming event with us, correct? Let me make sure I put that on here so that everyone knows.
Say that again.
Your upcoming event. They can send you an email at Romunda Ings.
Yeah, I have 2 days. I have the June 2nd and the June 6th, which is 2 days.
Okay.
The June 2nd is a Tuesday, which is from 6 to 7.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put that up here. Eventbrite, and it is June 2nd. And what's the other date?
And 6, which is a Saturday. So it's a Tuesday evening from 6 to 7 and a Saturday from 12 to 1. So they have 2 days to choose from.
All right. Perfect. Okay. Well, I'm putting that on here so that everyone can see that.
And I'll send you the link to it. I'll send you the link to it too, Delana, the Eventbrite link as well.
And I'll post it in the information. So again, if you guys enjoyed the information that Romunda shared, she will be talking about fibromyalgia and how to, what to do, what are some options, what are some natural ways that you can, I said fibromyalgia, fibroids, what you can, let me correct that. I put fibromyalgia, it should be fibroids, Lord.
Fibroids.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my goal is to carry it all the way down to help people get a better understanding from high blood pressure on, the whole serene of wellness.
Absolutely. Okay. So I corrected it. It's June 2nd and June 6th. It's fibroids seminar, and she's going to share that with you. And I know if you can tell a friend to share that information, of course, love, like, and share this video as well so that they can get the information about the importance of gut health. We could probably go on and on. It would be nice if we weren't on quarantine. Romunda would be in her studio and she could walk you through showing the colon and having the demos and being able to show you what the colonics look like. And that is a true clean out of your colon. So we will have to have her back when we are off of our social isolation and she is back in her studio. We'll have her come on and kind of pick up for part 2 of this and really show you what the other side of it, how you can naturally clean your colon so that you can have decreased inflammation, have better absorption, and better digestion as well. All right. So thank you.
And a better waistline. And a better waistline. Don't forget the waist.
Because y'all know y'all want that.
Waistline.
I should have led with that, right? I should have led with the better waistline. That would have had their ears all perked up, right? The better waistline. All right. So June 2nd and June 6th, Romunda Ings, the internal love doctor. Thank you so much for joining us tonight in the Women's Wellness. I absolutely appreciate you. You know, I love you. You are one of the what I call well-versed people about that specific area. So I knew that I wanted to share this with the ladies for the importance of gut health. You were the first person that that came to mind, top of mind. All right. So again, thank you. Bernie said thank you as well for sharing such great information. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yes. Tanya said, yes, waistline come through. Okay. And she said, thank you for sharing. And love you both. It was very enlightening. Thank you, Anita and Q, for joining us as well online. So we appreciate you. Again, show
we do.
love, and share the live video. All right, Romunda, I appreciate you.
All right, sweetie. No problem. No problem.
Ladies,
just get people to understand you have to love you with life instead of loving yourself to death, literally.
Yes, love you with life. That is her she tells me that all the time. Love you with life.
Love you with life.
All right. Good night, everybody.